Hi everyone, this is Heba from My Little Journal, and today I'm doing a much requested tutorial on crystal drops. You guys know how much I love crystal drops. If you've been watching me for a while, you know that I use my crystal drops on almost all my spreads. It's very rare for me not to use my crystal drops, but I love these things. They are just perfect to add some color to your spread, to add like a little embellishment to your spread. But I did want to talk about how crystal drops will not replace your enamel dots. I know a lot of people go out and buy all the colors thinking they're going to get that perfect enamel dot, but I'm going to share with you in this video how they look nothing like enamel dots. These have more of their own look, and sometimes you can make them bigger and smaller and all that stuff, but in the end they look nothing like enamel dots. So if you're thinking to replace your enamel dots and not have to spend on enamel dots by using crystal drops, that's not going to happen. They look totally different, and I love the look of crystal drops, so that's why I was able to replace my enamel dots by using crystal drops, because I'm not looking for perfection. But if you're looking for perfection in that flat surface and let me show you what I'm talking about. So if you're looking for something like this, flat and very glossy and just different colors and different sizes, you're not getting that with this. They're totally different, so you need to know that right away. But I've been using crystal drops for a while, and because I've fallen in love with them, I have replaced my enamel dots. Whatever I have are from been in my stash for years, or they come in a kit I bought or something like that. But I do not buy enamel dots anymore, and honestly I've saved myself a lot of money because these things are like $5. These are $3, so I can use these all the time. I have not replaced any of my crystal drops yet, and you know I use them all the time. So I definitely love these. I have replaced my enamel dots, but again, if you are thinking they're going to turn out like this, they're not. And I'm going to share with you what I mean by that and how I'm okay with them turning out differently than enamel dots, because I feel like they add a lot of color to my spread. Now, crystal drops come in, I think, 3 different types. Do not quote me. I did a little research before I filmed, but this tutorial is not about talking about all the different types of crystal drops, because I only love one type of crystal drops, and that is the glossy. I love the glossy crystal drops. They work for me. I love the colors. I love the look of the glossy. I'm not a fan of, I'm going to show you, I have one glitter, and I would have never bought glitter because I'm not a fan of glitter, but I accidentally bought the glitter, and that's something I definitely recommend that you check before you put it in your shopping cart. But this turned out to be glitter, and I don't think I've ever used it, honestly. I probably used it just to add it up a little swatch on top of my crystal drop, but I'm not a big fan of glitter, so this has not been used. But I do know there's glitter, and I'm not a big fan, like I said. And I believe the third one is called Jewel, and they are not as opaque, and I know I have one that's Jewel, and I'm not gonna sit here and look for it, but I'm not a fan. But there's so many different types of crystal drops. There's metallic, there's, like I said, the Jewel is more transparent, the glitter, so there's different types. I like the glossy, and that's the one I'm going to be using. And the glossy, I believe, also comes in 3 different types, so you really have to be careful when you're ordering these to make sure that you got the right one and the right type of crystal drop that you're looking for. But anyways, enough about that. I wanted to share with you how I use my crystal drops. I have, I believe, all the colors in the glossy and a little bit more because, like I said, I accidentally order some, don't notice what they are, and I get them and I don't like them. I think I have 2 of those, which probably is this one and that one. It turned out to be metallic. Not a big fan of metallic, and the glitter stuff, and I'm not a big fan of the glitter. So we're going to put these aside. I'm not going to be sharing these. I don't use them. I don't know how they work. I don't know if they're great or not, so I'm only sharing with you what works for me and what I have tried and love. So let's start. I'm going to show you how to use these and why I love them so much. Now, a lot of people have their own tips and tricks on how to use crystal drops. This, like I said, works for me. So let's start with, I'm going to use red. Now, before I start on my layout, I'm going to try the crystal drop off my spread because sometimes they have air bubbles and they will explode on your spread and ruin it. And it's happened to me before, so I definitely recommend you do it off of your layout first, make sure there's no air bubbles, and then start on your spread. So I'm going to try this off. I'm good. I'm just going to wipe it off, and then I'm going to start. Now, a lot of people recommend that you do it straight down and let everything kind of go straight down to the tip, but that doesn't work for me. I can't see, and I don't like doing that. I feel like I need to see where I'm putting my crystal drops. So I tilt it a tiny, tiny bit, a little bit, literally so I can see what I'm doing. And when I do, I just squeeze a little bit, not too hard. You get a lot out of the bottle from this little tip. And once I'm done, I either lift it up, you have a really cute little crystal drop, or I do a little swirl. A lot of people have asked me why I do the swirl, and because I just like it to look flatter or bigger, if that makes sense. You can see the swirl looks bigger and cleaner than just the lifting up and letting it kind of sit on its own. I don't know if you can see that, but this one looks so much bigger and a tiny bit flatter than this one. And I didn't swirl on that one. I'm gonna do it again. Let's use a different color. Let's do the navy blue. So I'm gonna try this first. See how that popped? There was an air bubble in there. I try it again. Everything looked good. I'm gonna try again. I tilt it a tiny bit because I need to see what I'm doing. I push a little bit, lift up. And then the next one, I'm gonna do my swirl. I did my swirl, and it just looks bigger. And that's what I do when I want bigger crystal drops. I'll do the swirly thing, but if I want small ones, I'll just lift it off and it looks perfect. I also touch and don't touch. I know that's confusing. So when I'm pushing down, like just the tip of my nozzle will touch, not the whole nozzle. If you do that, you're just creating like a little center for your crystal drop. So I always recommend just the tip of your nozzle touches the paper, and then you lift up, same, touch a tiny bit, swirl. And I love that. It's just so easy and simple. Now you can make them much bigger, of course. I don't like big crystal drops. There, you saw that bubble again. So I definitely like the smaller ones, but you can create larger ones, and I'm going to share with you how I make the larger ones. See, that's a large one right there. This one's I'm going to do it with my swirl, like that. So you can make large crystal drops, and you can make small, whatever size you want. They're all going to look really, really pretty. And look at that. I love this. It's just so pretty. And I don't feel like I need to use my enamel dots. Now, like I said earlier, why I said enamel dots are totally different than crystal drops. Look at the difference. That is so flat compared to your crystal drops. That's not going to happen with your crystal drops. You can try and try and try, but they're not going to flatten out like that. A lot of people tell you tap your paper. I never tap. They tell you lift up your paper and stop banging it and all that stuff. That doesn't work. They are not supposed to be flat, and you can try whatever you want and they're not going to flatten out. I know I've seen people do this before where let's make sure there's no bubbles there. There was bubbles. I've seen people do this, kind of draw it out themselves, and that works, but I never did that, and actually trying it now, it looks really good. So I'm going to do that again because sometimes You try something out and it actually works and you learn something new. So I started on the side and then I created like a circle with my crystal drop and then ended it right in the middle and did my twirl. But you see, that one didn't work that well. That one's more circle. That looks like an oval, I guess. But that turned out pretty neat. I like that actually. But I've seen people do that and they kind of look more like the bigger enamel dots. But you see, it's still not flat. So definitely play with your crystal drops. It's such a simple technique. I always say this, like, try different methods, try different ways that works for you, and you might surprise yourself and actually perfect something you never thought you would perfect. It does take time, and it's literally just about trying to get that nozzle to sit flat on one side, push, lift up. That one, I didn't do the swirl. This one will do the swirl. So you can do it in two different ways, with the swirl and without, whatever works for you. I feel like when you do it straight up and straight down, you get the Hershey's Kisses. I might be wrong. I see it. That's why I don't like to do the straight up, straight down. That totally did not work. Let's try it again. Let's see, do I get a Hershey's Kiss? Actually, no, it's not bad. But it doesn't look like mine. This one has more of a tip. I don't know if you can see that on camera. And mine do not have tips. Let's see if I can get that. You can see that. So, I mean, it's not bad, but I'm not a big fan of the not seeing where I'm adding my crystal drops. I like to see what I'm doing on my spread, especially when I spent so much time creating the spread. I really don't want to ruin it. Now, something else that I wanted to let you guys know about the crystal drops is these things last for a very long time. And I said this before, I've had mine for a long, long time, and I've never had to replace them. I have a feeling I'm going to have to replace my black because I do use my black a lot. And the next time I probably will buy the bigger bottle. I know they make the bigger bottles in the black and in the white, probably gray, I'm not sure, but they have a few colors with the bigger bottles, and I believe I will do that for my black because I do use it a lot. Sometimes the nozzles do get like crusty or hard, which I recommend that you clean off the nozzle when you're done adding your crystal drops. And also what's worked for me, this blue one gets stuck a lot, and I think this one's stuck. Yeah, I see it's really, really stuck, so I have to like always push really hard. So what I do is I don't flip it because then I'm adding more liquid or more of the crystal drops to the tip, and I don't want to do that. And I will try to push just where I get some of it out, hoping that some of that hardened crystal drop comes out. And if that doesn't work, I will grab a little needle. I recommend that you use one that has something on the top where it doesn't go straight down into your nozzle. And I will just slip it in and clean out my nozzle a little bit. And I think I got it. I think I saw it. So I'm just going to clean it with my needle. And you need to be careful that you don't poke yourself. But I think I got that. Let's see if that works. Yep, it worked. And I've been having problems with this one. I don't know if I got a bad one or if I got an old one. I'm not sure. I do buy my crystal drops online. I love this stuff. You can make whatever size you want. You can see how I can play around with the sizes. I can make little teeny tiny ones. I can make large ones. But it's so easy. I really think that if you take your time and just practice a few times, that you will get it right and you won't get those Hershey Kisses look, and you'll also start getting really good at it where you're literally creating big ones like that by accident. So that's a new technique that I just discovered, and I might be using that. I really like that big one. Now, like I said earlier, these are the tips and tricks that work for me. If you are expecting to switch out your enamel dots for crystal drops, I recommend buy a few, try them, and see if you like them, and then decide if you're not going to buy enamel dots anymore and buy all the colors with the crystal drops. You also need to remember that these are not perfect. You're not going to always get a perfect little crystal drop, and to me that's okay, but I know a lot of people don't like that, and a lot of people are really hating on the crystal drops, but I love these things. They're my favorite. Now, another thing a lot of people don't like is that they are wet and not dry. Not like enamel dots, you can just add them, put your layout away, and you're good to go. These need to air dry. When I air dry my crystal drops while they're on a project, I keep my notebook, you know, I use them in my traveler's notebook. I keep them open overnight, so almost 24 hours, because I want to make sure they're completely dry and they're not gonna ruin my layout when I close my notebook, and they're not gonna stick. Now, I know a lot of people complain that when they close their notebooks, a few days later they open it and the crystal drops stick to the other spread or the other page. That's because you didn't let it dry long enough. So you need to leave it open, let it dry. I mean, just leave it for a few days. Who cares? If you're not using that notebook, you're good to go. And this is something I've said in previous videos, that if I'm working in my traveler's notebook and I'm creating more than one spread at the same time, I will not use my crystal drops, because I prefer to leave them out, like I said, 24 hours, a whole day, for them to dry. Now, don't leave them for an hour. Don't leave them for 2, because they are literally still wet in the inside. So once you close your traveler's notebook, they're going to smush and squish and ruin your page. So anyways, to finish up this video, I just want to remind you that crystal drops need time to dry. Crystal drops are not perfect. You're not always going to get that perfect little drop. And if that's okay with you, then I definitely recommend them. If they're not, do not buy crystal drops. Also, they do save you a lot of money. As I said earlier, I do not buy enamel dots anymore. I think they're a waste of my money, and that's just how I feel. You know, if you're buying enamel dots, that's fine. It's okay. I'm not like judging you, but for me, I feel like I've saved myself a good amount of money using my crystal drops. And it's all about practice. Grab a piece of paper like this, try out your crystal drops, and believe me, you will see that it comes together so nicely, and it's so simple. Again, it's all about making sure you try it off your project so you don't get any air bubbles and it explodes. And the tip, one side of your tip should touch the paper. Tilt it a little bit, push, lift. That's it. Again, if you want to do the swirl, push, swirl. Very easy. I think these things are so easy to use and so pretty, and I don't mind paying $3 for a bottle that's going to last me a long time. I love these things. I recommend them to all my friends, all my crafty friends, and a lot of my crafty friends have asked me to do this tutorial, so I hope this was helpful. And if you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments down below. I will try to answer all your questions, but I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up, and if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing, and I hope to see you guys very soon. Bye.